Hi guys and welcome to another Hunt of the Month. This week's hunt is our old friend 30p Lee Anderson. So as a consequence of the cost of living crisis, which is affecting people all over the world, it has resulted in more and more people stealing basic foods in order to survive. People have seen their energy bills rise, their incomes and wages drop as inflation eats into them, and parents are so desperate that they're watering down baby formula. But this isn't the case at all if you listen to Tory Deputy Chair Lee Anderson. Here he spoke to fellow humanitarian Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Well, who better to have with me now than that son of Ashfield, Mr. Lee Anderson. Lee, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it is because of the cost of living crisis that is forcing people to shoplift, and we ought to feel sorry for them and empathise with the shoplifter?
Well, you did forget there, Jacob, to say that some of these supermarkets are actually beefing up their security. I'm surprised you missed that one. But no, I think this is a lot of nonsense about it's a cost of living crisis. Look, there's always been shoplifting in this country. We know that. And some of the products that they are stealing, such as the beef joints and steaks and cheeses, we know where it goes. It's not going into their kitchen for these people to eat. This is going straight into the local Witherspoons. A lot of the time, they're flogging it, and the local boozers are buying this or swapping it for drinks. It happens in my patch.
Well, if it's happening in your patch, so what Lee Anderson is claiming here is that people are not stealing food to eat it. They're not stealing food because they're desperate, but they're stealing food to sell it on the black market, or to sell it into Witherspoons. Now, that's a pretty explosive claim here, that Witherspoons is buying food from members of the public who've stolen it. Now, I would imagine Witherspoons doesn't buy the odd steak. They buy in bulk. They would buy large quantities because there's a discount if you buy large quantities. And also, there's a paper trail. You need to have, an invoice. And if you want to claim back tax or whatever, you need to have the paperwork. But Lee Anderson is claiming here that there are people going into the local supermarket, stealing a steak and selling it to the local pub. If that's happening, I don't believe that's happening, but if that's happening, why hasn't he reported it to the police?
I know it does, so it's just being sold on. Actually, Jacob, it's free market capitalism, except for the distributors are just stealing the products and moving it on. That's what it is. It's a quick money fix, and, sometimes these people have got addictions or problems or whatever, but I blame a lot of this on some of the police forces in our country who are not clamping down.
There aren't enough police. You're always complaining about the police, not being cracking down on some crime or not cracking down on some crime. Your party underfunded the police service and cut the number of police officers.
On shoplifting, they're not seeing it as a serious crime.
Well, that's the issue, because that's why I mentioned San Francisco. In San Francisco, if you steal, I think, under $1,000 worth, the police aren't interested, and therefore shops have been closing down because there's no enforcement. You can just get away with it. And is that the real problem? We need to see the police out and about. We need to take shoplifting seriously as a sort of gateway crime.
You're exactly right there, Jacob. I was in the US last week with the Home Affairs Select Committee, and they told us about the problems in San Francisco. And you're quite right. If it's less than $1,000, they don't investigate the crime. They don't even come out to the supermarket. So,
why would that be the case? Now, they say $1,000. I don't know if that's really the case, but let's say it is. Why would the police not be investigating a crime where whatever was stolen was less than $1,000? Probably because it would be covered by the insurance of the supermarket or the store. So if it's not grand theft, it would be a waste of police time, because it costs money to investigate these crimes. I'm not saying that the police shouldn't do it, but obviously there's a cost, and the police are probably saying, look, it doesn't warrant a cost, and you can claim it back on your insurance. So what's the point in investing resources to find somebody who's stealing food to survive? One guy here would like to bring back Victorian workhouses, and the other just thinks that anyone who is stealing is doing it because they have an addiction, or they're selling stuff into Witherspoons. Really? Honestly, the pubs are buying food from members of the public. just think about it for a moment. Imagine a scenario where you go into your local pub and you say, look, I bought this steak a few days ago. I don't want to eat it. Are you willing to buy it from me for half price? Now, any pub owner who would do that would be in serious trouble, because if somebody bought that steak, how long had it been sitting in someone's cupboard or in someone's fridge? We don't know. There's a health risk there, but also the fact that a business would not be buying stuff from members of the public. It's nonsensical. Or maybe I'm missing something. I said hunt of the month, but maybe we have two here. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.